As usual, the first thing we do is we look at the task itself. The instruction is always going to be here, but let's hope you remember what you need to do without it after this lesson and a whole year of practicing. After the instruction, you can see a text separated into sentences with gaps. Each gap is numbered 25 through 29. For all the gaps, you have a word that you need to put into the sentences to complete them. That sounds familiar, right? In 19 through 24, we saw the same structure. But in 19 through 24, we needed to put words into correct grammatical forms. Here, we need to change words into correct parts of speech. So, what are our strategies? Don't forget that just like in 19 through 24, 25 through 29 is a connected text. It might help with understanding. The first thing we do here is understand what part of speech we need in our gap. For example, we have the sentence and a word that we need to put into the gap, visit. The first thing I notice is that the gap is the first word in the sentence. I look further, can reach, and understand that our gap is actually the subject of the sentence. So, I need a noun, visitors. Further in this lesson, we are going to study different places our gap can be and how to understand which part of speech we need to form. Then, we also need to remember that a noun can be singular or plural. How did I understand that we needed visitors in our previous example and not visitor? There is no article before our gap. Visitor is a countable noun. I know that singular countable nouns cannot stand alone, cannot be used without an article. Plural countable nouns can, when we're speaking about something in general, like here. So, I needed a plural noun, visitors. We will study all the factors that can help you understand whether you need a singular or a plural noun in our further lessons on word formation. Then, if we need an adjective or an adverb, we need to remember that they can be positive or negative. The context and the grammar of our sentence will help us understand. For example, this sentence and the word forget, we already know that the most is part of the superlative degree. Our gap describes the noun after it, sights. So, from the grammatical structure of the sentence, I understand that I need an adjective. How do I know if I need a positive or a negative one? Well, first of all, I have to remember about the fact that it can be both, right? Secondly, I need to look at the context. So, I'm looking at the previous sentence. The area includes many breathtaking natural wonders and reveals much about the legends and mysteries of Aboriginal people. It doesn't sound like forgettable, right? Forgettable can describe something that is easy to forget, especially because that something is not interesting. To make sure, let's also look at the sentence that follows ours. Here, you can learn more about the cultural significance of the area. You can do a base walk and meet some of the local wildlife, and you can take more photos than you thought possible. Okay, cultural significance and taking photos, it's definitely not forgettable, right? So, we need the opposite of forgettable. What's that? Right, unforgettable. We got it! Guys, one more time. 1. We figure out the part of speech. 2. We understand all the additional stuff about the part of speech. 3. We add the right affixes. There are 2 types of affixes you need to know. First, prefixes, the ones that are added at the beginning of the word, like honest, dishonest. Dis is a prefix. And suffixes, those are the ones that are added at the end of the word, as in profession, professional. L is a suffix. There are a lot of affixes that we can use to form different parts of speech, and we are going to study them together in our further lessons on tasks 25 through 29. Okay guys, so after we got the part of speech and we put it into the correct form, we need to check our spelling. And this is because even if we choose the part of speech correctly, and add the right suffix, we can still lose points if we make a spelling mistake here. For example, we got that we needed an adjective in the previous sentence, and we even figured out that the adjective needed the negative prefix un. But we forgot to double the T and wrote unforgettable with 1 T. Sorry, we do not get the point here because, well, there is a spelling mistake in our answer. Unforgettable needs to have 2 T's, and that's the only answer that the computer will accept as the correct one. That is it, everyone. For each gap that you will fill successfully, you get exactly 1 point. We have 5 tasks on word formation, so that's 5 points for you if you study word formation thoroughly this year and don't let the stress of the exam get to you. Let's now do a couple of simple exercises to see how well you understand everything. Then we'll move on to learning more about parts of speech in English.